The universe is completely chaotic. That's what makes it work so well. Its chaos is predictable. It's the most orderly chaos that there is. Uniform chaos is much more orderly than order.
I can tell you that Rama's seminars is in no way, shape, or form a cult. That's the most ridiculous claim in the world. If anything is a cult, it's the Cult Awareness Network, and I will tell you that. That is a cult. They use brainwashing techniques, everything they say they're against. Brainwashing, mind control, coercion, force, drugs, sleep deprivation. They use all of those techniques. They physically abused me. They had me locked in this hotel for 11 days until I renounced my belief system.
Jennifer Jacobs was kidnapped and deprogrammed by the Cult Awareness Network. She has since returned as a student of Rama and has gone to law enforcement officials to file complaints against her kidnappers.
I consider myself to be a Buddhist, and I've been a Buddhist since before I attended Rama seminars.
Zen Buddhism, Hindu Buddhism,
Buddhism.
Yoga?
Buddhism.
Which Buddhism?
You don't necessarily have to classify it, I wouldn't think.
The only thing that predisposes them to being influenced by someone like Rama would be their lack of knowledge of what spirituality is, what the great traditions have taught, what meditation can do to them physiologically, etc., etc. They tend to be very naive about spirituality in general, and they're easily filled in with whatever Rama wants to teach them.
That is a pompous, self-righteous man, and that is the attitude of the whole Cult Awareness Network. These people, there are a whole bunch of deprogrammers who make $50,000 to $70,000 a year at least. Plus, there's a lot of people who are out there persecuting anyone whose religious beliefs do not agree with theirs. They don't have any right. I am 22 years old. I'm a legal adult. They have no right. They can be concerned all they want, but they have no damn right to kidnap me.
Rama followers insist they are just fine, thank you, but others want him put out of business.
I like him put out of business. I like him off the charts. He should not have permission to go out there and act out his insanity on innocent people.
I want him stopped. I think he's a very, very evil, evil man.
With us now, Zen Master Rama, and also called Dr. Frederick Lenz. He is with us tonight here in New York. Welcome, Master Rama.
Well, thank you. Rama's just fine.
All right, Rama, what do you think of the report?
Well, I think you did a very balanced job in terms of the story. It's the first balanced one I've seen. I did an interview with Newsweek for an hour and a half, and they didn't print any of it.
Right.
I introduced them to these people, so I think you've done a very balanced job.
All right. Well, that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was you have no reaction to some of the things that seem most disconcerting to some people. Let's start out with, are you one of the 12 enlightened beings on Earth?
I am an enlightened teacher, and it would take about an hour to explain what that means.
All right. Who are the other 11?
Well, there's a very well-known gentleman in India called Satya Sai Baba, and so on and so forth. Names you wouldn't even know.
What of those charges, those sexual charges from one of those ex-followers, some of those ex-followers? I mean, they're very serious.
Well, they're very absurd is what they are. They're not serious. These people are all part of the Cult Awareness Network. Lisa Hughes, who you saw...
You don't deny that they were within your seminars. You got to know them. You've admitted that you have indeed had sexual relationships with some of them.
I went to bed with Lisa Hughes. Yes, that's true. And with Annie Eastwood. They were two people I went out with. And there was no abuse. I haven't gone out with women since I've been about 14 years old, as I imagine you have.
Well, what is this? Is this some creation in their minds? It's pretty detailed.
Well, if you'd like an explanation, it's pretty simple. They're part of a group called the Cult Awareness Network. Lisa Hughes, for example, takes part in deprogrammings and kidnappings, as does Steve Putnam, who was on.
How do you preach detachment of sexuality from enlightenment, and yet you go out with the people who come to your seminar?
Well, to begin with, I don't preach detachment from sexuality. It's easy to draw quotes out of context. What I suggest that people do is be aware of their sexual interactions and see, is it benefiting your life?
Are you rich?
No, not particularly. Depends what you mean by rich.
Well, you've got a big
I would
house
imagine,
in Malibu, you've got two
No, I
Porsches,
don't.
you have chartered airplanes. I'm sorry.
I don't have a house
Well,
in Malibu.
you rent a big house in Malibu.
I rent a small house in Malibu. There's quite a difference. I imagine you make more a year than I do.
I don't have two Porsches, and I don't have a rented house in Malibu, but
I
that's
understand, but I think you make more than I do.
Well,
yeah.
Well, then how do you get the money to pay for those I mean, a Porsche costs over $60,000. If you're renting from Goldie Hawn, you're talking about...
I don't rent from Goldie Hawn. That was years ago that I rented a house from Goldie Hawn. The Porsches are quite old, as a matter of fact, and I just like antique Porsches. You know, it's very easy to distort things and blow them out of proportion. But let me come to the Cult Awareness Network. Your question is all this stuff true?
Right.
And why are these people saying what they're saying?
Right.
My response is that these are individuals that are part of a group that goes around on a regular basis discrediting religious figures,
All right,
called the Cult Awareness Network. I'm just their latest hit.
We are going to find out about that and
Right.
exactly what indeed their reasons for being are.
Right.
We have given you assurances that you would be here chatting with me and that you would have your opportunity to talk to us about the report that you just saw. You've had that. And that we would interview you alone. We do have another guest, and our next guest is... maybe you don't want to stay around for him. Maybe you do. Maybe you know this gentleman from New Mexico. Maybe you don't. But we're going to talk to Joe Zimhart, head of the Cult Awareness Network.
No,
we invite you to stay. And
I'd love to.
fine, terrific.
No
Well, then-
problem at all. You know, this guy's not the head of the Cult Awareness Network.
all right.
This is a deprogrammer who's hired to do kidnappings for
Good.
$50,000 a hit.
Well, good. I think for the first time, you two gentlemen might be able to talk to each
Why
other.
not?
After this. The first time that we know of, Rama and Joe Zimhart will be able to have a chance to chat with each other. First of all, do you believe that Rama creates bad mental health in people, like you said in our report?
I believe that it's possible that someone who engages in following Rama's doctrine will possibly enter into a delusional type of outlook on life.
Well, then let me ask you this. You are a deprogrammer. You deal with those who have either been inculcated into cults or follow cults, become followers. What does he do that creates such loyalty?
Well, for one thing, he sets himself up as something that he is not. A Zen master, an enlightened being, a person who can traverse in the occult world at will, etc. He is not representing any legitimate Zen tradition that I know of, and he doesn't seem to have any particular powers other than being able to induce trance inductions in people.
What do you say?
I've been accepted by the 3 largest Zen Buddhist monasteries in Kyoto as a teacher. They've invited me to bring students anytime, step 1. Step 2, I do 2-night-a-month seminars that a person attends and may or may not attend again. I don't see how this rates as a cult. I think we're talking about 2 different items here. I do seminars that are like real estate seminars in very simple Buddhism. I think the attack here is not Zen Master Rama, it's Buddhism and meditation and the ability to look within yourself and find God and truth. And these guys don't like that, and they get paid professionally to kidnap people who want to explore our First Amendment right, and that's freedom of religion. It's an interesting business you're in.
So in other words, he just accused you of the same thing that you said that he does.
Well, what he's saying is not true. Most of the cases that I work on are voluntary. I do not kidnap people myself. Often the families will hire a security team to secure the individual, and in about 1 out of 10 cases that I work on, I may come in and counsel that individual after they've been secured.
Joe, let me ask you this. What's the worst case scenario you have found in somebody that you have deprogrammed about Rama?
The worst?
Yeah.
Probably an inability to function in the real world.
Does that
One of
include
his
sex?
Probably, yeah.
You've had some of his ex-followers talk to you about sexual relationships?
Yes, certainly. I worked with Mercedes Hughes, and I worked with a lady who was being set up to be his next mistress.
Well, I don't know about all that, but I know that this gentleman was involved in the kidnapping of Jennifer Jacobs, and she has filed charges against him with the Seattle police. They held her in a motel room for 11 days, showed her Charles Manson videos. This seems to me to be what we would call kidnapping and programming. Their methods are very similar to what they used against our guys in North Vietnam and in Korea.
All right, we have to end up. You want to react at all quickly to that, Joe? We have to wind this up.
For one thing, the process we use is fairly open. We don't use just Charles Manson tapes. I can describe in a longer session what we really do, but for one thing, I do not work for the Cult Awareness Network, neither does any deprogrammer that I know of. They're independent people.
All right, we have to wind this up. I'm glad at least that you two have had a chance to chat with each other.
Nice to see you, Joe.
See you too, later.
Bye sometime.
All right, and we'll see our viewers after this. Thank you.
Sure.